Alright, trying this one more time. Final test for the day. Audio test number 3. I cover Mr. Obvious's new info on the Jack Dorsey leaked tape, leaked video. Welcome to the broadcast. Just getting the party started on the scene with what's going on. I got some stuff on there about, I guess, some stuff on YouTube about Bill Cooper and Alex Jones and some other crazy stuff. If you want to check it out, feel free to like and subscribe. It's always appreciated, along with any and all donations. All right, thank you, and let's do the audio test.
I'm pretty sure that Jack Dorsey is a complete and utter sociopath.
You should always feel free to express yourself in whatever format, manifestation feels right.
You sit on a throne of lies.
We are focused on one account right now, but this is going to be much bigger than just one account, and it's going to go on for much longer than just this day, this week, the next few weeks. It's going to go on beyond the inauguration. The U.S. is extremely divided.
In a viral video spreading online by Project Veritas, a Twitter insider secretly recorded CEO Jack Dorsey spreading his message. What was it? Very simple. Not only did we ban Trump, we're going to ban you too. Because we at Twitter are God. We believe that we decide what you can and can't say. Basically saying that the purge has come for conservatives, for libertarians, for right-wingers, for liberals, for moderates, for centrists, and it's here to stay. Now, I'm convinced that Jack Dorsey is a major sociopath. He shows no emotion. He talks in a very minute and soft way, and I feel like it's all to fool you into a false sense of security. Did you know that Jack Dorsey actually follows Antifa accounts on Twitter? He allows Antifa, BLM, and far-left activists to put threats on Twitter. In fact, did you know that Twitter has a huge problem with illegal material being shared on the platform? And Twitter does nothing about it. But they will ban you for misgendering someone, for being a conservative, and for voting for Trump. Well, they certainly have their priorities straight. But what really made me mad was the following thread on Twitter. Now, before we look at this, folks, please remember to like this video, smash a subscribe button, hit the bell button, comment down below, and share this content, folks. You see, I was also purged on Twitter, as many more and thousands of people have been. Over 100,000 conservatives have been purged from Twitter already, and you can already see the effects. Twitter has become nothing more than an echo chamber. And they shut down Parler. Twitter helped Parler get shut down. That is why I'm going to put a link in a pinned comment. Subscribe to Gab. Join, because we don't have Parler. We don't have Twitter. Gab is where it's at. Let's go to Gab. I also have a BitChute. So here, Jack says on Twitter, I do not celebrate or feel pride in having to ban @real Donald Trump from Twitter, or how we got here. After a clear warning, we take this action. We made a decision with the best information we had based on the threats to physical safety, both on and off Twitter. Was this correct? No! I find the hypocrisy amazing because, again, left-wing threats are on Twitter right now. You have major left-wing people, Don Lemon, CNN, Nancy Pelosi, who have all supported riots in the past, literally incited violence against politics.
All of them are co-conspirators, in my opinion, and I think a court's opinion, if it would ever be able to get to one.
Politicians against the government, and they've never been punished. Jack continues, I believe this was the right decision for Twitter. We faced an extraordinary and untenable circumstance, forcing us to focus all our actions on public safety. Public safety, you say? What about the safety of conservatives? Have you been to Twitter lately? all these leftists make threats against you. If they do not like what you think, if you're not part of the left-wing cult, they will threaten your life, threaten your family, dox you, get you fired from your job. For them, it's all about destroy, destroy, destroy. That is what Twitter has become. Cancel culture is Twitter. And I've made a lot of videos about cancel culture. I think cancel culture is toxic. I think it's bad and it has to stop. But the real issue here is the leader of Twitter is a sociopath who is lying to people in order to censor people he doesn't like, aka right-wingers. And then he wants to talk about a conversation. You can't have a conversation on Twitter at all. You're not allowed to have an opinion unless you're left-wing. If you're right-wing, they will ban you. Period. Ban you. Jack says, the check and accountability of this power has always been the fact that a service like Twitter is one small part of a larger public conversation happening across the internet. If folks do not agree with our rules and enforcement, they can simply go to another internet service. Just build your own internet. Just build your own companies. We're going to shut them down, but just build your own country. Wait a minute. Yeah, so that's the problem, Twitter. You got Parler shut down. You colluded with big tech to get Parler, your competitor, shut down. First of all, that violates antitrust violations, and you are guilty of a crime against the law, but, who cares, right? Who cares? The real issue is, you're telling people to simply go to another service when you shut down the competitor? You know what, Jack Dorsey? You're a sociopath. You're an evil person, okay? Oh, you can go to Parler or something. Oh, wait, I shut down Parler. Ha ha! Jack says, this concept was challenged last week when a number of foundational internet tool providers also decided not to host what they found dangerous. I do not believe this was coordinated. Twitter was literally in on it. More likely, companies came to their own conclusions or were emboldened by the actions of others. Go to hell, Jack. I don't want to hear this. You are a liar. You have lied to the people. You have censored thousands of conservatives, and you censored the President of the United States. Let me ask you something, Jack. Who do you think you are? Someone sounds like an authoritarian, Jack. Someone sounds like a fascist. And you know what? I think it's you. All this time, big tech, Twitter, Amazon, Google, all these companies, and the Democrat establishment have been saying, we're the good guys. We decide what you can say. We decide when you can breathe. When we say jump, you better jump. I'm not going to lick your boots. You understand? I am a free man. You used your monopoly power to censor and deplatform your competitor. Parler was exploding. It had like 700% growth in a day or a week or something. And you shut them down. And then you bragged. Oh, look, Signal, my other company, which I also own. Yes, Signal is owned by Jack Dorsey. He said, look, it's #1 in the App Store. Ha ha. Do you know what was #1 on the App Store before that? Parler. Ah, it's all coming together. Skeevy, corrupt CEO abusing his power. Now he talks about promoting a global conversation. What he really means is you can talk as long as you're a left-winger and you agree with us. Otherwise, shut up and sit down. Now someone blasts him in the replies, rightfully saying, what about these people inciting violence? Have their accounts been yeeted? Will they be? Doubt it. And it's just this huge montage of left-wingers, CNN, the media, calling for violence, supporting riots, supporting destruction, and saying they want to hurt the president, they want to hurt the White House. And all of these people are still on Twitter.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look, as his character is stabbed to death.
It's just one endless montage of left-wing threats on national television, in the media, on Twitter. So let me ask you something. Is CNN going to be banned for supporting riots? Is, Chris Cuomo going to be banned for supporting riots and violence? He literally said, who said that riots are supposed to be, peaceful? I think he used the word protest, but he said, who said they need to be peaceful? Who said they need to be nonviolent? That is literally the media calling for violence. And you're telling me that conservatives are the ones being banned? Are you kidding me? Of course not. These people are tyrants. I've said this before and I'll say it again. These left-wing nut jobs are tyrants. And guess what? You think it's going to end with just Trump and Trump supporters, then it's conservatives, then it's moderates, and then it's liberals. And then it's the left wing itself. There will be nothing left. But that, my friends, is pretty much the story. I want to read this comment. It's very important. It is from a left-winger. I plus everything says, I'm left-leaning, and I totally agree with this comparison. It's been one-sided. In order to encourage the radicalization of both the right and the left and push them to hate each other. Kudos to you for seeing through big tech tyranny. You see, the elites, the corrupt elites, they want us to fight against each other so we aren't fighting them. We should not be fighting. We should be uniting against tyranny, against corruption, against sociopaths like Jack Dorsey. But that, my friends, is merely the obvious.
Oh. Thank you, Mr. Obvious. Always an awesome show, and get 'em. Because, like, I've watched a lot of your presentations, and I can tell you're pretty livid, and I don't blame you one bit. And God bless you. You're very appreciated. Alright, so that's the third test, and hopefully I got the audio good now. We'll watch one more.
These declassified documents reveal the extent to which the FBI abused the FISA spy warrant system.
Your name has come up as one the Democrats would like to take some kind of disciplinary action against.
This is not what a free and fair country does. This type of attempt to silence all political opposition is just dangerous.
At a time of division, we've got to rally around the things that unites us as Americans, and I think the First Amendment and free speech has got to be at the top of that list.
But I did see today folks like Senator Joe Manchin calling for the criminal prosecution of people like the president and Mo Brooks and Donald Trump Jr., and that is crazy. That would only further divide the country. I think the president can take action in the final days of his presidency to protect the movement, to ensure that people are able to still speak out, and I think the cancellation of members of Congress, whether it be calls for Hawley and Cruz and myself and Mo Brooks to resign, or calls for even worse, dovetail with what we see with big tech. No longer is it acceptable for the political left to participate in elections and try to participate in debate. They're trying to deplatform people who don't agree with them and to say that folks who maybe inspire a different political message are worthy of expulsion or worse. And I don't think that's going to do anything to animate the calls for unity that we've seen across the political spectrum.
Well, they don't like the exercise of free speech, Tucker, I think, is at the end of the day. I mean, this is really about the First Amendment. It's really about free speech. And Simon & Schuster didn't like me doing what Democrats in Congress did in 2001 and 2005 and 2017 when Democrat members of Congress objected during the certification process in order to try to have a debate about election integrity. You know, that's the First Amendment at work. That's democracy at work. But Simon & Schuster, and unfortunately a lot of people on the left now, have decided that the First Amendment is something they no longer support. And I'll just say this, Tucker, at a time of division, we've got to rally around the things that unites us as Americans, and I think the First Amendment and free speech has got to be at the top of that list.
I think our country is badly divided right now, and I hope that there is a time of healing and coming together.
GOP Senators Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley could be put on the no-fly list. Not just any Democrat at that. Homeland Security Committee Chairman Benny Thompson is saying their objection to the Electoral College results helped to incite the riot at the U.S. Capitol last Wednesday. Take a listen to Chairman Thompson.
There's no exemption for being put on the no-fly list. Even a member of Congress that commits a crime, they expel from the body. There are ethics charges that can be brought against those individuals. And people are looking at all this. What Hawley did and what Cruz did was horrible.
So let's not skirt the issue. He does go on to say, Kennedy, that he believes both senators, Hawley and Cruz, qualify as domestic terrorists.
This is not what a free and fair country does. This type of attempt to silence all political opposition is just dangerous, and adults in D.C. need.
I think the obvious answer is that they want people to snap out. They've been, in my opinion, they've been doing it since they started raising the gas prices, or cigarettes to, $10, or, I don't know, just about anything, I guess, all adds up, right? But what's being shoved down our throats in the last 24 months is quite unprecedented and quite just nuts.
To start acting like adults, and people need to start pushing back against this type of escalation that's happening on the Hill.
Your name has come up as one the Democrats would like to take some kind of disciplinary action against. They're talking about some kind of a censure resolution, perhaps, or disciplinary action for Congressman Mo Brooks, whom we just heard from, Congressman Louis Gohmert of Texas. And your name is on that list as well. Your reaction?
I guess Democrats have been trying to shut me up in Congress for about the last 4 years. I think that democracy and the republic work best when the voters select the representatives, not the other people in Washington, D.C. I'm proud of the substantive arguments we advance. These are relevant, factual items to discuss and debate, and the fact that Democrats want to expel us and prosecute us and censure us shows that they might not be willing to actually debate us and
Yeah, The Truth is a really good channel. Definitely like and subscribe to them if you like the content. And thank you for allowing us to share the truth from The Truth channel.
Engage in the substantive reforms that can create broader confidence in our election system, and I think that'll help all Americans.
Even if you don't agree on these particular challenges, that recent polling shows 39% of Americans believe this last election, quote, was rigged. That is a terrifying, that is a horrifying outcome. That is a real threat to the integrity of our elections. And so what I urged my colleagues, and I spoke very directly to Democrats and Republicans, even if you personally don't share those concerns, and I'll tell you, I have heard those concerns from thousands of Texans just in the last few weeks, but even if you don't share those concerns, it should be in all of our interests to see a credible process that resolves these claims, that considers the evidence, that hears it fairly, and that makes a determination. That having a process to audit the returns, I think, was a very common sense step. I think it's the right step to take, but unfortunately, it was not the step that Congress chose. I think if we'd taken that approach, that election commission with credibility would have helped both sides of the aisles. Republicans and Democrats have a far greater trust in the integrity of the election, would have helped resolve these claims. Unfortunately, the majorities in Congress didn't agree, and so that was not, at the end of the day, what Congress chose to do.
The 2019, now cross-platform.
And so this is the appropriate place for these concerns to be raised, which is why I have raised them here today. And I hope that this body will not miss the opportunity to take affirmative action to address the concerns of so many millions of Americans, to say to millions of Americans tonight that violence is never warranted, that violence will not be tolerated, that those who engage in it will be prosecuted, but that this body will act to address the concerns of all Americans across the country. We do need an investigation into irregularities, fraud. We do need a way forward together. We need election security reforms. I bet my friends on the other side of the aisle don't disagree with that. We need to find a way to move forward on that together so that the American people from both parties, all walks of life, can have confidence in their elections and that we can arrange ourselves under the rule of law that we share together.
Senator, before I let you go, looking at everything that happened yesterday and with the objections, if you had it to do all over again, would you?
Yes, absolutely. I would object and urge that we should follow the law and follow the Constitution. That's what I was elected to do. That's why 11 senators came together with me to make those objections and to urge a path. And this is important, Julie. You know, there's been a lot of, I think, mistaken reporting on this. People suggesting that the objections were to set aside the results of the election. That's not what the objections were for. That's not what we were seeking. We explicitly said that's not the objective we want. The purpose of the objections was to urge the appointment of an emergency election commission to ensure the integrity of the election, to hear the claims, to hear the evidence, and a commission that would have real credibility as an impartial body. I think that would have been very good for the country in terms of helping bring people together and getting bipartisan confidence in elections. That was doing the right thing.
The Senate, Congress never does anything unless they're pressured. And again, that's one of the reasons that I'm going to object tomorrow. This is my opportunity to stand up and to bring this issue to the fore and say Congress has got to get off its backside and do something. We need to have an investigation. We need to have hearings. We need to have new laws. If we don't do that, nothing is ever going to change. Things will just go on the same way, status quo. We'll see these same problems, these same irregularities over and over and over. Something's got to change.
Excuse me. I think a new party is going to be coming, and you know, the only problem there's ever been with a third party is getting people to jump over there to do it, you know. And with the way people jump over to new platforms by the millions in matters of days, I think it's always been possible. It's just a question of people actually doing it. In order to, in order to get it done, you have to do it together. But anyways, God bless everyone. Thanks for watching the broadcast. Yeah, we'll see you next time. Hopefully the audio is actually good.